Hello everyone, my name is AP the Word, and welcome back to the third episode of Full Metal Panic Second Raid, Labyrinth and the Dragon. And finally, for the first time ever, we actually get an episode that takes place in a real world location, even if the setting is a bit fictional, as in the Full Metal Panic universe, there is a North and South China. But that we don't care about that. What we care about is the location. As a group known as the terrorist group, known as the 5,000 Lost Men, have taken away some northern diplomats that were in Beijing and have trapped them in the Yangtze River, like in this kind of dam in the Yangtze underneath the Yangtze River. And our group Mithril is tasked to rescue them. Now, obviously, the Lost 5,000 Men are led by this crazy bastard, who I'm going to call he's known as Gates. So I'm going to refer to him as full name, and he is the one who's leading this operation. Though there is another man that is helping them. Anyway, he's captured some diplomats, and of course, one of the diplomats is the sister, one of the U-Fan sisters, so the pilots of the AAS. She's amongst one of the group. Later on, she does some pretty deadly stuff. This is one of the more graphic episodes, as we do get to see some splicing up of a neck and some bones. So yeah, it's a bit of a graphic episode in terms of violence, but overall, it's still a very good episode, despite being a setup. Anyway, so once the guys in the Yangtze River, our Mithril is tasked to take care of them. Both Russia, the UN, they want to take care of the situation. They don't want another civil war to break out, as it's been 5 years since the last civil war. So they tasked Mithril. Now, the dam underneath the Yangtze River is a very convoluted place. It's very much like a labyrinth, and they're going to need some help from this man, Vincent Belluno, who is very obviously he's obviously bad. Like, the number of shots, even a previous shot, like, yeah, this guy's bad news. His role is a bit interesting in the context of the anime. Is what Mithril needs him to do is he's created these kind of like station points, that these transmitters that will allow them to communicate with each other and then communicate with Mithril as well. However, their more devious task is to give Gates control. He gets Gates control of some autonomous Gurnbackers, so it kind of allows him to save his men and just kind of operate some Gurnbackers remotely without men dying, and kind of confusing Mithril. So that was kind of the main purpose of him. But yeah, he's obviously evil. He doesn't take place in part of the mission. I think this might be someone else, but I'm not 100% sure. It could just be him. I'm thinking of another character who we will learn about later. But anyway, so it's very obviously evil, and he gets Mithril, the main team, Kurtz, Sosuke, Mao. They're kind of all trapped in there, and where the diplomats are held, let me think how I'm going to word that. But okay, we got those three, and then we also get, for the first time, not necessarily the first time, but we get the rest of the SRT members in human form. Basically, they're not using ASs. Only the main three are using them, and so like a tactical group, pretty nice. I definitely enjoyed it. Now, unfortunately, they don't see much action, and then pretty much are all wiped out by one of the U-Fan sisters. But it was kind of a nice touch. Like, all right, we get some foot soldiers. I liked it. It was very much appreciative. The anime definitely looked very beautiful. Like in the beginning, we saw with Gates, the fire explosion when he blows up a police barricade. The fire just absolutely looked amazing. Great shot. Just nice, maybe a minute or two of just explosion and him and being a crazy bastard as he is. But the other great shot is we, of course, see the return of the Red AS, the Venom, who's piloted by Gates. And then another one of the Codriles, the ones I mentioned from the previous episode are back used by the older Yufan sister. So some nice good detail. A couple of interesting details about the episode that I found. Sosuke kind of wanted to use an M9. He doesn't want to use the Arbalisk because he still doesn't trust the Lambda drive, even though it saved him in his last report. And he's also not happy with Wraith spying on Chidori or Kamina. He thinks that he needs to do a better job, but that's not their place to command. It was the one person taking the pictures from the previous episode was obviously Wraith. So he's not very happy with the quality of the caretaker. Wants something a little bit better, but it's not up to Tessa or Callahan's mission to department to handle that. They're the offensive forces. And that's essentially the episode. It's just a big setup episode. You definitely anticipate more action. If you're watching for like week-to-week basis, this could be a bit troublesome. But if you're binge watching, it's a perfect way. Now, I do want to talk about where this series is going. As I'm going to basically state out, Second Raid is more or less anime original in many respects. So finding out the cutoff point for Volume 4 and 5 is a bit tricky. But I did find out the closest match would be Episode 8. So that's essentially where Volume 4 would end if this was following the anime. Based off the characters getting your introduction. So that isn't my plan. So basically after episode 8 we about to have 4 or 5 episodes for volume 5 presumably. I am curious to how this is going to play out though, because there is a spicy scene in the light novel. I'm curious if it's going to get transmitted in here in the anime, but that's for a future time. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully have a wonderful Friday. I recorded this a bunch Thursday night just because I felt like I was in the mood. Didn't feel like playing Pokemon at the moment. But yeah. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of the Friday and have a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you guys Monday for episode 4.